Hey there! Today we thought of giving you guys a quick tour of our seed starting setup we have here at the Horticulture. Seed starting is one of my personal favorite activities to do late winter and early spring because it marks the beginning of a new season and an opportunity to do something different. For us, starting plants from seeds also saves us a lot of money since we need quite a few seedlings for our garden with over 20 raised beds. And also, instead of being limited by the varieties you typically find in a nursery, you can buy different seeds and try specific varieties of each crop. I would like to begin by saying that our seed starting setup has evolved over the last 5 years we've been gardening. We started with just one of these seed trays that you typically find in garden centers, and the very first year we only grew tomatoes and peppers from seed and bought all the others from a local nursery. Then we slowly gained confidence and started managing our seed starting schedule better, and now we grow almost 90% of our crops from seeds rather than having to buy transplants. So if you're new to gardening, I would recommend certainly starting small and take baby steps before you invest in a lot of equipment. I will first cover all the equipment we use and then come to the approach we follow at a high level. You can also find the link for all these items we share in this video in the description box below if you might be interested. We use the storage shelf we got from Target, which serves as our stand for seed starting. We place this rack in our living room by our patio doors, so it naturally gets a lot of sunlight, and it's also right on our way and not hidden in a room, so there's no question of us forgetting to water or monitor the plants on a periodic basis. Next, we have these grow lights, which are actually just plain LED lights, which we hang on these shelves. This bottom grow light we had for over the last 4 years is a more powerful and also an expensive one, but the top two ones we got them this year from Lowe's for around $9 each, and honestly I think all of them does the job just fine. In the past, we have raised seedlings without grow lights, and having tried both the approaches, I can say having lights definitely makes a lot of difference, as the seedlings are much stronger and not leggy, as in they're not moving towards the sunlight if you keep them near a windowsill, so they're more stronger. We typically keep these lights on for around 8 hours a day at least. And since they're all LED, they don't consume a lot of energy really. Next, the trays we use. We have a few options. We use small terracotta pots sometimes. We have these green trays, the cell module trays, sugarcane based trays, which can be directly transplanted into the soil. And we also make our own paper pots. A quick note on these cell module trays. If you have tried seed starting at home, most of us are familiar with these standard 72 module trays that you get from garden centers. But honestly, these are extremely flimsy, and over a period of 2 years, you just need to recycle or trash them, which is a lot of plastic waste. So we ended up investing in these thicker and sturdier trays, which I think should easily last for at least a couple of decades. For soil, since we need a lot of mix, it's more economical for us to mix ingredients like coco coir, vermiculite, and some fertilizer from individual packets and then use that. But you can certainly use any homemade compost or any commercial seed starting mix as well. And to water these plants, we have our watering can and a misting bottle nearby. For seeds which are extremely tiny like these, until they germinate and become a decent sized plant, we use a mist bottle so that there's not too much pressure on them. And for more mature plants, we simply use a watering can. Next, coming to our approach for seed starting, I would like to preface by saying that this technique, which we've been using in the last 2 to 3 years, is highly inspired by Charles Dowding from the UK. If you haven't checked out his channel, please find the link for it in the description box below. Trust me, you will learn a lot about gardening and you'll be inspired to have your own garden after watching his channel. So the first phase is for the seeds to be germinated, meaning the seed coming out of its shell cover and building itself into a tiny little plant. So for this phase, the soil needs to be kept evenly moist, and it doesn't really matter if there are many seeds put nearby. So say we are growing tomatoes, what we do is we start around 10 to 15 seeds of tomatoes in a small terracotta pot, or similarly many such different seedlings of different types in these green trays. So that's the real benefit of using a germination tray, is in such a small area we have around hundreds of plants which are already growing and ready to be transplanted into a bigger pot. After around 3 weeks, when they start developing their true leaves, we then pot on these seedlings into either these cell tray modules or in some cases paper pots. And the next 3 to 4 weeks or so, the crops are left to grow indoors in these trays, after which usually it's the time to set them outside. So as you can see, overall with seed starting, you get a jump start of around 6 to 8 weeks at least indoors before the weather outside is ideal to set them there. And using this germination tray and then a potting tray means we don't really need as much equipment, and while the spring crops like cabbages and cauliflowers are mature enough to be set out, the tomatoes are happily germinating and growing into these tiny seedlings in the green trays. So that's pretty much it. Hope this helps you get a feel for how to raise a lot of seedlings in less than a 5 by 2 foot corner in your house, and maybe gave you some inspiration to set up your own seed starting corner at your place. As with anything, remember to start small and slowly grow your setup from there. Take care guys, see you soon.